Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's Mike Prater. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame, weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Now, here's Mike Prater and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Happy Thursday, Boise State fans. Welcome on in. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. We do this every weekday around 9 a.m. We talk Boise State athletics, and we'll keep it going even after the season's over. All summer, we'll have countdowns and things, plenty of news happening. So hopefully you will make it a habit to start your morning every day with us, 9 a.m. on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. And make sure you're subscribing to the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel down at the bottom of the screen. Just click subscribe. And subscribe to the KTIK 95.3 The Ticket channel as well. They're doing some video segments and things like that. And there at the Rowpaint.com studios in downtown Boise is Mike Prater of KTIK. And Mike, I saw you at the game last night, late night, quick turnaround, but a little easier. Well, maybe not for you. You like talking about the negative stuff, but usually it's a little easier to get up a little earlier and talk after a nice night for the team you cover.
Well, yeah, and I don't even know if there was any negative stuff. I do like the negative stuff, but it's hard to find the negative last night. Yeah, you can nitpick it to death, but as a fan, that's exactly why you go to live sporting events. The energy in that building, the drama, the entertainment in that building last night. Actually, we were both making a mistake. I think it may have been even earlier this morning. I thought I saw like a 12:02 on my clock at some point, but Leon liked to talk after that game, and it was very entertaining, very enjoyable. The energy was beautiful. That's why you go to live sporting events, BJ, just to kind of capture that attention. And the story of Max Rice, it just keeps on giving. I love it.
Yeah, and I was thinking last night, okay, the game ends at 10:45, 10:50 or whatever, and yeah, by the time we get on the air, at 11:45, I told Colin Mitchell, who works for me, I said, this may be one of those shorter kind of 30-minute shows. We'll see how many people are watching. We're there at 12:45 in the morning, Mike, going on a 50-minute show, and we still had like 130 people watching last night,
Nice.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but given the time and what was going on, it was a lot of people were fired up. We went over an hour last night, almost till 1 a.m, and then I wrote a story after that. So I walked out of the arena about 1:35 in the morning as they were starting to convert over for the Old Dominion concert, which is coming up tomorrow night. Yes, it was a quick turnaround. It felt like one of those football games where you're walking out of an empty, press box at 3 a.m. or whatever. But it was that game had everything, Mike. We're obviously going to talk about Max Rice, but Boise State got down 13 in the first half. You had this huge crowd that was just ready to explode. Early in the game, they had a little bit too. And then, as New Mexico kind of took control there later in the first half, there wasn't a whole lot to cheer about, but I thought it was huge that Boise State, quietly got a little quick 7-0 run right before halftime to make the deficit, 6 at the break instead of the 13 or even more that it was, with 3 minutes to go. So you get it to manageable at 6. And then Boise State starts that climb in the second half. And I thought the crowd, as you mentioned, even though the third level on both ends behind the baskets were pretty much empty, and they only announced the crowd. And as you know, Mike, the announced crowd is never what it actually is. Yep. They only announced it at 9,825. So they were even admitting there was a minimum of 3,000 empty seats last night. But those that were there for an 8:30 game, wanted to be there. And I thought it was one of the louder crowds, even despite the empty seats I've seen in a while. And for me, Mike, it was the sustained loudness, during like the New Mexico defensive possessions. I thought we've had, big crowds where they get, they cheer when there's a big moment for Boise State, but I thought they were booing New Mexico almost every possession. I thought they were into it. And I just kept thinking, man, if it's like this tonight, what could it be like against San Diego State here, next week? And so, got a game we'll talk about at the end Saturday against San Jose. But this is all setting up to be maybe just one of the special nights in the history of that building, senior night, with a chance to potentially clinch a share of the title next week if New Mexico loses, if San Diego State were to lose on Saturday to New Mexico. But long-winded comment and question there. But overall, the crowd was great. Boise State got down early and then made the big comeback in the second half.
Yeah, I thought it had all the drama that you would want. It's a very much overused sports metaphor, but it was a heavyweight title fight. It was sloppy. It was ugly. It was inspiring. There was lots of runs. Boise State went on a run. New Mexico went on a run. There were counter punches. There was the defense. Yeah, and the crowd was beautiful last night. Now, you you opened up the show by saying Prater likes the negative. A typical Boise State fan. Here, I'll fire the first shot. And they're not different. They're not any different than any other fan base, but there are fan base here that we get to follow. Most of their energy, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but most of their energy last night was feeding off the officials, and then the one bad guy for New Mexico, House, that became the villain of the night.
Why? What did he do?
Well, he had a couple of aggressive plays. I'm not saying he was right or wrong. If I'm an opponent, I get fired up over guys like that. If I'm a New Mexico guy, that's the first guy I want on my team. But he plays with a lot of reckless abandon. He flew around. The refs definitely blew a couple of calls, and that perpetuates and feeds into the crowd, where the other 5 or 6 bang, bang, bang calls may not be so bad, but the energy and the fans get after it. And then all of a sudden, Max Rice, bang, bang, those 3-pointers. That's when the energy really exploded, and it became like a positive energy toward Boise State. So I don't care how the fans react. I don't care what kind of energy they have, but it started with the officials, because in that first half I was sleepy because New Mexico did go on that run, and the fans helped. The referees helped, and then Max's 3-pointer certainly made the biggest difference of the night.
Speaking of, being a little sleepy and groggy, Logan Byler, like all of us, dragging a little bit today. He says, Derek Morales says, definitely needed some tea this morning for the throat there. But
Nice.
Those that came, I think, left feeling, unless you were on Boise State -6, left with a great feeling about that game. I mean, I know the game was a little later, 8:30. It was obviously unfortunate with the time. You get a better time, 7 o'clock on Tuesday against San Diego State, but that was a fun game, and it was back and forth. And I thought Max Rice, as he said, hit 2 huge threes back to back in a span of 28 seconds, and 30 points, career high. And some of them are, I don't want to say garbage time. He hit some free throws late, but they needed a lot of those free throws down in the final minute. But who would have thought? And I know you've written plenty about it, over the last couple of years and even in the last couple of weeks, Mike. But when Max Rice out of Bishop Kelly High School announces his commitment to Boise State, that he's going to put up a 30-piece in a key Mountain West game that inches Boise State closer to a Mountain West title and an NCAA tournament berth.
I don't even know how to respond to that. I mean, the story of Max Rice is so stinking beautiful right now. It's hard to even put it into words. And that comes with all the ugliness and all the goodness and last night, that first 10 minutes summed up his entire career. Bad decisions, sloppy play, hustle, smart basketball IQ, productive, going out and being a winner and leading this team. So the gift of Max Rice is beautiful right now. And what he did last night with the dramatics and the flair, I love watching this guy play basketball, and that includes some of the ugliness. That includes the warts. He embraces that. He acknowledges that. He knows exactly who he is, and I think it's really smart. He goes beyond just the dramatics too, and I know last night post-game there was a lot of talk about him coming up with this one play with Duryea, suggesting this play that works, and the backdoor cut.
I want credit for that, by the way. I was the one that saw that, and then Johnny asked the question as if he's the one that magically found that. I want some credit for that.
Here's my show sheet for Idaho Sports Talk today. The very first thing we're going to talk to Johnny Ballgame about is unofficially trying to take credit for other people's work. I snuck into that press conference last night, and he says, Max Rice, I saw you do this. And then you jumped in and said, no, I told you, Johnny. And then Johnny goes, yeah, I know. He does that to me and JP all the time at Idaho Sports Talk. So that's a beautiful thing. We're going to get all over Johnny about that. But, Max, the backdoor cut, the play call, the coach in waiting, I thought it was a beautiful experience. And Max, we're going to try to sneak him on Idaho Sports Talk today as well because
Nice.
I love watching this guy play basketball.
Well, I think I have it queued up properly. Here's a quick quote from Richard Pitino after the game talking about Max Rice.
I think he's a really good player. He's very, very unorthodox. Coach's sons don't always get the credit they deserve. I've lived that, but he's a terrific player, and I think people need to understand that. He's a big shot maker. He plays really, really hard. He's tough. So a terrific player.
Terrific player, a little unorthodox. I know what he means by that. Maybe Max Rice isn't the most athletic player in the league, and but man, he has turned himself into, they got to go 15 deep on these three teams here, Mike. And the Mountain West a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago, the coaches for whatever reason decided to do their own voting. So the media does one that's kind of recognized and it's kind of unofficial on their own, and then the coaches do what the league dubs the official one. But if you got to go 15 deep and get to a third team, and Boise State somehow finishes at least tied for first place in the league here, I think you got to find a spot, at least on that third team somewhere, for Max Rice.
Oh, I do that now. That's not even a debate. And I don't care if Boise State wins the title or not. Max, he's one of the best 15 players in this conference. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Johnny was a little embarrassing last night, pinching and pimping Max the first team all conference, but that's a little ridiculous. But those two have a cute little love affair going. So it's all good there and all kind of fun. But yes, Max Rice is absolutely one of the best 15 players on this team. I think I'd make a push for him on the all second team. I'd have to dive into the research a little bit, but it's about the intangibles and it's about the things that you bring to the table. And Max Rice brings so much to the table. If we included every stinking intangible, including the coaching abilities, maybe Johnny's not too far off base. Maybe he is a first team player.
Yeah, you had Max Rice, and I'm doing this on the fly here, so I don't know if I can find this quote, but Max Rice giving Johnny some love, and that is starting to get a little, we know they had the selfie together last year on the court.
The hug.
Starting to get a little weird there.
It is kind of getting a little weird. Max is giving Johnny some love, and Johnny's giving Max some love. Their little private love affair is going very much public, DJ.
I don't know if I can find it on the fly, but yeah, he giving him credit, saying that he should be doing the voting. I just like how he calls him Mallory, not ball game or Johnny, he just calls him Mallory. But the full video there is up on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel if you'd like to watch Max Rice, Chibuzo Abo talking to the media. Leon Rice talking to the media as well. And, I asked Leon about it, and I kind of led my story with it, but you think back to, the South Dakota State game where you lose at the buzzer. 2 games later, you score 11 points in the first half against Charlotte. You lose to drop to 1-2, and people are going, oh, okay, yeah, they really meant that key jab and Akot and Malad and Armusha were bigger deals than maybe we thought. This could be a rough year.
Yeah.
You fast forward, they've only lost 4 games in like the past 3 months. They're, if not a lock for the NCAA tournament, they're getting closer with probably one more win in these last 3 games. They're 1 game back of first place. And as I said, Boise State plays at 5:00 on Saturday at San Jose. And then right after at 8:00, you've got this same New Mexico team hosting San Diego State. So you go from the biggest New Mexico haters as Boise State fans to the biggest New Mexico fans, because if New Mexico is able to beat San Diego State, which they already did at Viejas Arena, by the way, if they can beat them at New Mexico on Saturday night, and Boise State wins on senior night, Tuesday night, Boise State could clinch a share of the Mountain West title. And I don't know how they would handle that, if they would cut down the nets or let the students storm the court just for a share of the title, given that the last game is on the road. But Boise State, after the 1-2 start, after the Santa Clara loss, then you lose to Nevada to start conference play, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, if Leon Rice isn't the favorite for Coach of the Year in the Mountain West, he's 1A with Brian Dutcher, I guess, or I guess Tim Miles you could have thrown in there, but they're now 7-8 in the league. It's been a heck of a job from Leon Rice and this team to be in this position, given where they were 1 game out of first place with 3 to go.
I have lots of issues with Leon Rice in the offseason, and we'll leave those alone in terms of how he continues to build this program. But Leon Rice, in my opinion, might be the best in-season sports coach I've ever covered. And I know that sounds very hyperbole, but and he's probably on the list with a few others that don't come to my mind right now. But in terms of October 15th to March 15th, I've never covered a team that consistently, and I'm not just talking about this year, but consistently gets better every single game that it plays. Yeah, there's bumps along the way, but Leon Rice teams get better in season. And I always thought that Leon Rice's team would get better every season. I think he's doing a marvelous job. He's got a lemon that's going a little bit sour with only 5, 6, maybe 7 players.
Yep.
Milner and Jace last night did a nice job, but that's about the ceiling for them this season over these next 5 weeks. And if you can get that out of them over these next 5 weeks, Boise State can be a good basketball team. But Leon Rice is amazing at what he does in season and the way he develops these players. And I know it's not all just Leon. I know it's Duryea. I know it's Burns. I know it's Lexus. I know it's that whole crew down there. And he's got himself a heck of a staff, and they do a great job. And I really do appreciate that. So he's squeezing everything out of it he can if he can just get through these next 5 weeks. And I think they're already in, by the way, BJ. Unless they went on a 4-game losing streak, maybe then we have some issues. Otherwise, I agree with Max Rice. Boise State, they're already in the field.
Yeah, and you were one of the ones that I don't want to say was – well, you were a little questioning or criticizing the fact that you thought maybe they should have done more with the roster to capitalize off of last season's success, and not to all of a sudden say they shouldn't have. I mean, Mo Silla, one of the big guys, that hasn't really been a non-factor. Sada has really not been a factor. They're really, Abo has been great at times, but at times has been a up and down guy that hasn't done much. I don't know if we can do we give Leon Rice the credit and say, hey, he knew what the roster was, or could this team be even better if they had more guys and he's lucking out, or where are you on this roster? Because obviously Leon Rice, it's the roster he had going into the season, and it's proven to be good enough.
Yeah, it is, but the depth, I want some depth, and I'm cool with the starting 5. I'm really cool, although, maybe like a Najee Smith coming off the bench would be a little bit better of a spark, or, Tyson not having to play the post, or, Najee drives me crazy. He's more of an inside player, and he plays way too much outside, and I don't like the way he plays. We should be able to take advantage of his skill set inside more than outside. So I think that there's some role playing going on with this team that they have to do, and Leon is doing a fantastic job. I don't think he's getting lucky. I think he's coaching his ass off and being really good at it. But could there have been more depth? Could they have gotten another recruit? Could Sada have been more of a home run recruit and been a difference maker here? I don't know. I don't know if I have the answers. I'm not a paid basketball coach, but I know that 3 guys they brought in, and 2.5 of them really aren't contributing to this basketball team. And the lack of depth with this team is still alarming. It's what we talked about last year. It's exactly what we talked about last year. And if Boise State goes on a Mountain West run, whether they win the title or finish second, and then go into the NCAA tournament and lose another game because they're outmatched, outperformed, way too tired, in his slump, can't shoot. Same old song and dance, BJ.
Part of me thinks you want that to happen, Mike. You're just waiting to
No, I've been predicting for the last month, and I really do believe this because I believe in big stories. You got into this business. You and I are in this business for the same reason. Big stories. And one of the biggest sports stories that could ever happen right now is Boise State winning an NCAA tournament game. And I've predicted it, and I'm sticking with it. Even when they had some lows a couple of weeks ago, I think this team can win an NCAA tournament game, and I want it to happen. It's just about the expectations, BJ, of this town. You saw what happened last night in that building. You saw what this town can become. You're the one that keeps pushing for this to become a basketball town. And Max Rice said last night, it's slowly becoming, or maybe he didn't even say slowly, it's becoming a basketball town. And right now, the vibe is cool. And if they win an NCAA tournament game, maybe then Leon Rice can cross over and get that impact recruit or do something in the offseason to make a difference with his program, because he does a great job in season, but he needs to step it up offseason, if you ask me.
We'll keep the discussion going in just a second, but I want to thank a few of our sponsors. Cutwater Spirits. My wife was enjoying a couple last night during the game. Some other folks I saw on social media were as well. More than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits. Let them do the work for you. And again, 2 for $7, very affordable. Cutwater Spirits. Rowpaint.com. They got that deal going right now. The interior painting of your home, 15% off. That's right. You can get 15% off the interior painting of your home using the promo code BNN15. And they're also scheduling out for the spring concrete coatings for the back patio, your garage, your basement. So take advantage. Get more information at rowpaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise. They want to buy your used car. Even if you don't buy from them, which is crazy to think about, they will purchase your used vehicle, take it in, they'll make you a cash offer on the spot to their location there in Fairview. You can get more information. Look at their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. And Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. They're in for co-title sponsorship of the golf tournament coming up, as well as rowpaint.com. So mobile, e-branch, online banking, it's never been easier. You can get more information. Do it over 500,000 Idahoans have done. Make the switch today to Idaho Central Credit Union. And that's right, Prater, June 2nd. I know you're in again. We're looking forward to it. You guys are going to be out there broadcasting the show again. I've already had multiple, and I'm not kidding, multiple people request Mike Prater for their group. So we may have to start they heard how much fun he was last year, and we'll have, and how much he contributed to the team's success there. We'll have to see if we get a bidding war going, raise some more money for charity, maybe. I don't know. But June 2nd, registration is now open out at Timberstone Golf Course. So please, we're already almost half sold out in 20 and 48 hours. We're already about half sold out already. So we, a lot of people that liked it last year won in. Those that missed it, heard how cool it was. We've already had a couple new groups as well. So if you're on the fence and thinking about it, don't wait. We're gonna sell this baby out, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Some of your favorite coaches are gonna be out there, even some players. I'm not ready to announce which ones yet, but there may be a few players that on some NIL deals or just wanting to come play for fun that'll be involved as well. So Timberstone Golf Course, June 2nd, and you get more information, BroncoNationNews.com. Just click on the golf tournament tab. I think it just says golf. Or it's BroncoNationNews.com/golf tournament and or golf, I think, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to that. So 3 games left for Boise State. And by the way, we do need to give Jace Whiting and Lucas Milner. You mentioned them the other day, but I think that they've taken Lucas Milner in particular has taken his fair share of beatings on my show, on your show, from fans on social media. That's not 3 games in a row, Mike. That's 3 games in a row where Lucas Milner has come in and made a positive impact. And again, you look at it and you say, okay, he had 6 points or whatever it was in 22 minutes, but I thought that he more than held his own in there. And he's not perfect. He's not Morris Udezi, the big man for New Mexico. He's not Nathan Mensah from San Diego State, but he's a lot more than he was a month ago. And if they can get Lucas Milner down the stretch to give you 6 and 6 every game, I think you would take that. You had a couple big blocks in that Colorado State game on the road last week. But you had one point in the game where, Jace Whiting drives the lane and dishes to Milner for the slam. And you're like, are they playing, Prairie View A&M, or are they playing New Mexico here? I mean, it was pretty impressive. And so who knows what you're going to get out of those guys, but you mentioned the bench. And I think that, as you go down the stretch here, in the limited minutes those guys play, because you saw the other way, you saw Pavle Kuzmanovic come in. And again, we're not here to bash anybody, but gave up 2 straight buckets on the defensive end. And that's where you wonder, is Sada really not good enough to even come in and do that? Maybe that's a story for a different day. But, so there was some negative with the bench. But when you get Jace and Lucas playing like they have, now over a, multi-game stretch, that's positive news going down the stretch here.
I love what those 2 guys contribute. And you can almost predict when they're going to be good or not in a game, because I think it's about a physical matchup. And Jace Whiting is always going to be really good for a true freshman point guard. That's really what he is, a true freshman point guard. He's going to be okay as long as he doesn't have that physical mismatch. I mean, he's not a very big kid. He's slight in stature. And as long as there's not a big Magic Johnson point guard that he's got to go up against, he's always going to give you what you saw last night. And the same with Lucas, and he held his own physically last night, and he's coming on. And that's maybe what I talked about in terms of what Leon Rice can do. We saw with Mladen Armouche last year, a lot more definitive, a lot stronger, a lot earlier in the season was Mladen. But here comes Lucas Milner. And yeah, the stats are nice, but I just need him to be relevant. Play with some energy, make a difference, get the crowd fired up, get your teammates fired up, give Najee or Tyson a breather off the bench, although Tyson never sits down, so neither does Max. They're playing 38, 39 minutes a game. And I get that, but I love when Lucas and Jace are doing what they did last night, and I cannot wait to watch them over the last month of the season.
Dayton Robinson, we talked about this briefly, but didn't want to get back into this. How many more wins between now and the end of the Mountain West tournament does Boise State need to become a, quote, lock for the NCAA tournament? He says, is it 2? You're saying 1. As long as you don't go on a 4-game losing streak into Selection Sunday, you're okay.
I think so. I really do. And, if you finish 1-3, if you, for whatever reason, what that is, they could end up in Dayton, and that counts. That still counts. I know there's going to be a big buzzkill. This team is better than that. This team is definitely one of the best 64 teams, 68 teams in all of college basketball. It deserves to be in the main field. I think it'll eventually get there. I don't see this team going on a 1-3 run, but I think they're pretty close to a lock. I think they're in the field right now.
Would you take Dayton if you knew they were going to win? If I told you they'll win the Dayton game, would you take it?
Oh, let me write that one down, BJ. Johnny asked me the other day, if Boise wins in Dayton, does that count as the win you're looking for? And I said, yes, it has to count. So if you
counts based on the money you get and the NCAA tournament seating shares, it does technically count.
Yeah.
But there'll be some Leon Rice detractors that would say no.
It comes with an asterisk, and eventually he's going to have to get in the main draw and win. And let's assume that. But if you gave me Dayton with a guaranteed victory right now and advancing into that Friday game or whatever it would be, heck yeah, I'd take that right now.
I don't think they're going to be in that position, though. I think I think they're past that. And I know you kind of like to give me crap for looking at the numbers and everything. I just don't understand. I study this stuff multiple hours a day, and I just don't understand. It's just very interesting, Mike. The resume and the numbers and the computer rankings does not equal where the bracket projectors have them. So I know Jerry Palm and Joe Lenardi and these guys get paid to do this, and they're probably pretty close. But it's not going to shock me if the NCAA tournament would have come out, they came out with that first 16 or whatever a couple weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah.
If they would have come out with the full 68 team field, everyone has Boise State as a 10 or 11. It wouldn't have shocked me if they were a 7 or an 8. You look at the numbers and they should be better than what a lot of people are saying they are. Now I'm going to trust Jerry Palm and Joe Lenardi that they know what the committee's thinking and what they're looking at, and that it's probably accurate. But I think there's a chance when selection, last year they were a lower seed than we thought. They were the 8th seed when we thought, they should have been a 6 or a 7. That was low.
Yep.
I think the brackets might have them as a 10 or 11, and they're going to pop up as a 7 or an 8 this year because it wouldn't shock me one bit if that happens. And I just personally think they should be in a better position than a lot of people think they are right now. You mentioned Max Rice saying he doesn't think they're on the bubble. Some people think they are. I mean, they got 10 wins combined in the first 2 quadrants. No horrible quad 4 losses. The thing they really need is another quad 1 win. I mean, for whatever reason, this whole quadrant system is just such a big talking point. It's such a big deal, but it is real. And you've got Utah State right now at 31 and Nevada at 32, Mike. So 31 for Utah State, 32 for Nevada, and they've got to get into the top 30 for those 2 wins Boise State had at home over them to become quad 1 wins. So both those teams win a couple of games here, and all of a sudden you have 3 quad 1 wins, and it's crazy to think about because the game didn't change, but all of a sudden their ranking changes, which makes the game look more important, and all of a sudden Boise State looks like they're in a much better position. So it is weird, but they could use, that's one of the reasons they could definitely use the win over San Diego State. They could use another kind of marquee, the A&M win is looking nice, but they don't really have that just resume building, oh my gosh, they beat them type win. And I think a home win over San Diego State would give them that. So the computer rankings in my mind say they should be in a better position than a lot of people think they are, but they've got a chance down the stretch here. And I think the San Jose State game is going to be very interesting because this ain't your old, mama's San Jose State team that goes 2-25 and not much of a crowd there. It's a weird kind of glorified gym, similar to a College of Idaho or an NNU gym. It's smaller. It's a weird, mid-afternoon start. And, you're looking ahead to the Tuesday San Diego State game, but that game doesn't mean as much if you don't beat San Jose. So I think, there's been a lot of impressive wins for this team, but I think that we'll find out a lot about this team. And I think Tuesday or Saturday's game in San Jose is massive for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I think it's way more important than the San Diego State game. You lose to San Diego State, I don't think there's any harm or foul there. That's just basketball. That's business. And you lose to San Jose State, and the perception game gets out of control here. The fans get a little fired up. The bracketologists get a little fired up. The computers get a little fired up. So I don't think there's a lot of consequences against San Diego State. There's a lot of opportunity. That's very, very important. But to me, the game of consequence, the game of substance is definitely San Jose State on Saturday.
Hey, don't forget the Blue and Orange store. $40 order gets you free shipping. Check them out. You can also go online in person to theblueandorange.store.com. And if you're looking for a new job, transportation compliance service, check them out. TCS, they can help you get a new job and get you into the trucking industry in no time. Mike, we got about a minute and 15 seconds left here. We'll wrap it up. Final thing, you've been covering this program for a long time, and here we are with 3 games to go, 1 game out of first place. Big games coming up down the horizon, Mountain West tournament, NCAA tournament. Obviously, it's an exciting time for us, but it is nice to see where this program's become. And I know we joke about, you get more phone calls, more page views, whatever, when they lose. But, to back up last year and not make it necessarily a one-hit, one-year wonder and be right there again, it's pretty impressive, and it's kind of cool to see.
time to finish strong. Can't wait for San Diego State on Tuesday, and let's see what happens in the tournament. It's almost March, BJ. It's almost March.
You know, I love talking to you so much for 30 minutes, Mike. Why don't we do it for 3 hours tomorrow? I'll be filling in tomorrow, Idaho Sports Talk, 3 to 6 with you. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be tomorrow, 3 to 6. I'll be filling in on Idaho Sports Talk with Mike Prater. Today, you can hear him and the whole gang there, 95.3 FM, 1350 AM, KTIK. You guys will have plenty of coverage. You mentioned maybe Max Rice coming on. You guys will continue your football countdown as well. So a lot going on. Listen to our friends over there at KTIK. Download their app as well. And Jay Tuss will join me tomorrow morning. And then, as I said, I'll be on tomorrow afternoon with Prater. So appreciate it, Mike.
Appreciate it, BJ. See you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, but looking forward to it.
There he is, Mike Prater, KTIK. Appreciate him. Appreciate John Patrick for helping get us on the air as well. Have a great rest of your day. Go read my story on the game at BroncoNationNews.com. Consider subscribing, and we hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you at 9 a.m. with Jay Tuss tomorrow. Have a great day. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.